thought about any of this yet.
Oh boy.
We'll just figure
Well,
it
I
out.
haven't really. I mean, I read some of them, but
Okay.
like you said, a lot of them didn't seem like they need to be thought of too much, but
Maybe that's best. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, it's Jeffrey with Real Nifty Vintage, and we are here today to answer some questions that you have asked. Asked. That's a hard word. Can you say it?
asked.
Asked. So I posed the question on the community tab here on YouTube, and I got a lot of responses. So I went through and picked out the ones that were liked the most and some interesting questions. So we're just going to jump right on in. The questions are directed at each one of us. Some we'll all answer, and some are just specific. So let's begin. The first one is actually kind of a general question. It says, could you and Barb please talk about your family histories and how you developed a love of vintage and antique items? I so love your videos. You guys rock. Even little Stella adds a cute aspect to your hauls. And that was from Lori Wetmore. So Stella's over there. She cannot answer. But yeah, let's begin. A little bit of our family histories. Okay, so they are brother and sister. That's part of that. I'm not biologically related. I am his boyfriend, and this is awkward. I don't know how to answer this question.
We're friends.
Yes.
Yes.
She's a girl. So how you developed a love of vintage and antique items. You should go on that one.
Okay. I don't quite remember if I had much of an interest when I was very young, but then when I was in college, I worked at an antique mall for a little while, and I think that's when I kind of, being around those items, I guess I must have been interested in a little bit if I wanted to work there in the first place. So
yeah. And was your mom ever?
My mom, they went to a lot of yard sales, but they weren't necessarily buying like vintage. Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit when I went to an auction when I was younger.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, with our grandpa.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, probably working at the antique mall was first when got interested.
Strange, and it kind of just like really went crazy. Like
but that was in college, and then it was so many years later that we started going.
And
to
it just
auctions.
like that's whenever it just kind of out of the blue almost.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just sort of a strange parallel.
Uh-huh.
So I'm a lot different, and so I used to go to flea markets whenever I was young. Did you ever go to flea markets back when you were in high school?
I know I did in college. I don't know.
Okay, well, it was around that time, 18, 19, 20. I was going to flea markets pretty much every weekend over in my hometown. I didn't do yard sales very much.
And it's interesting, the very first time that I talked to him on the phone he was at one of the flea markets that he liked going to in Granite City there.
I don't remember that. So, okay, and I did go to flea markets, and it's funny because in the moment I never really thought about where these people got their stuff from, who they were. I was just shopping, and I didn't think about it at all. So, the first taste that I had to the whole reselling idea was when your grandma. She had an auction because she had passed away. So the whole estate went to auction with the house and everything. But all of the items in the house went over to this community center, and I was there. So I had never been to an auction, but I guess you had. I didn't know that you had.
Just a little bit,
Okay.
not a lot.
So it was completely new to me and astonishing at the prices and how cheap things were going. So I was at that point shopping at like Big Lots and Walmart, all the home goods. So I had this idea of kind of what styles were in, what things cost new. And as I was seeing these prices come up, $2 here, $3 here, I was thinking there was just so much more money that was left that I could buy. I wasn't even thinking about selling at the point. I was just saying, oh, there's still value in these things. Like, I want them. And half the time I didn't even know why I wanted them because I didn't really need them. So I had a box of things set aside, and after a while, and I had my own vintage things that I bought at the flea markets over the years. Vintage things like a Van Briggle vase and rotary phones and different things that caught my eye. So after a while, I pretty much said, you know what, this stuff isn't doing me anything. It's just sitting around. And at that point, I kind of changed my style. Once we moved into this house, I changed my style from like vintage to, well, let's do everything new. So everything in this house was kind of thought of that way. And it sort of, so I was gonna just sell it. So I started listing things on Etsy, and it sold within a couple days, the first few things that I listed. So I realized how simple it was, and I think that's kind of a broad statement because it's not simple for a lot of people. It just happened to be at that time with the thing that I had that it kind of motivated me to be like, wow, I could continue this. And I did. How did you and Aaron meet?
Well, that's it was a dating app. That's all I'm going to tell you.
That's all you can
That sounds
Well,
really shady.
I can give the name of the dating app if
No,
they want to know.
it's not like a crazy one. It's just one of like that's specifically for us, like our type. So, yeah, it's nothing too spectacular. It's just that it's easier. It was easier for us, and we're both introverts in that way, and we don't really go out anywhere to meet people in real life. So we had met on the dating app, but he came over. See, around that time I had bought my first house, so he was able to come over, and shortly after we hit it off. I think 2 or 3 months after you moved in.
Yeah, it was about 2 months.
That was in
met him in August there of
2012.
2012, and then moved in it was in late October of 2012.
It was pretty quick, but I had been dating and trying to find someone for a while. Honestly, ever since I was like 17, I was on this serious hunt. I don't know, was that you at all? Probably not.
I always had a boyfriend, but I mean.
Were you like, I need to settle down, and you were like, I gotta do this. Cause
not when I was really young teenager, but by the time I was like
18,
done,
19.
like in college, I would say, yeah.
And see, my dating mostly started college and beyond, not so much in the high school or junior high time frame.
You came to it late in the game. No.
Yeah, really.
That sounds
I did.
weird.
Well, late in the game for dating.
Yeah, but I was really ready, and so once I put the whole puzzle together and I figured out what was that he was a good fit, and then I
complete me. He completed your puzzle.
Oh, that's such a cliche. Anyways, we said, yeah, this is right. So it all went from there. So it's now been 7 years. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Doesn't
13,
seem like it.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yes, good. Okay. What is your opinion on the next hot vintage item in demand?
You know more about that than me.
So I want to actually get your take too, but I'll say what I think. So I think since we're coming up to 2020, it's going to be the things from the 1920s, that 100-year anniversary. So Art Deco, maybe, I don't know about Art Nouveau, but especially Art Deco, very geometric things. More, yeah. And it sort of tails onto that mid-century that we just came out of, or we're still in, really. Beyond that, I don't know. And that's kind of the whole thing. I don't think anyone knows.
Right.
We could maybe look back at past performance on what's been popular. Seems to be this 30 to 40 year anniversary, even among the kishy collectible things that you've grown up with. So what is that, 70s and 80s items probably we'll start seeing more of. I don't know what that would be though. It's I don't know. It's really tricky because the 70s, everything sort of recycles itself. The 70s, we saw the Hollywood Regency items, the gold, the brutalist items popping up that were based on an earlier time. And then the 80s, I think I've mentioned to you that I think a lot of the 80s was like Art Deco inspired stuff, really. We had like the wicker patio sets and everything. So again, that sort of, the 80s kind of almost plays into that 20s time frame again. So I don't know. And so you're asking a hot item, that makes it even harder because what specific item are we talking about? I couldn't say.
It could be that a TV show will pop up too that,
like Martha Stewart
crazy.
did with Jadeite.
Yeah.
Like that seemed to be a big hit. And then the
Mad Men
did mid-century, really went over the board. And the Gaines people, what are they? From Home TV?
Oh, like
Home Network? What?
HGTV.
HGTV. and they were bringing popular the farmhouse industrial stuff, really. So it is so tricky. I don't know. Since, let's see, I would like to know more about you. So I was born in Granite City, Illinois, which is actually about 15 minutes from the St. Louis Arch, downtown Arch. And as great as that sounds, I don't think I really drove over there a whole lot. And that's probably for the best. It's not the safest area. But yeah, so I grew up over there. What you like more in school? I didn't like school at all. So you would think maybe history, no. Thought it was boring. Math, no. Spelling, ironically, as bad as I talk, you can hear the dog.
Yeah.
She's like, oh.
Stella, want to be in the video?
Get her up here.
I think you're gonna be. Oh, don't go over there.
Spelling, I really enjoyed.
I did too.
What are the other subjects?
Math,
Is that it?
English, reading, science, social studies.
Reading. I didn't really like reading either. I didn't mind oral communication, ironically.
Speech.
The speech. They called it oral communication. And I didn't do any extracurricular. Do you know the word?
Extracurricular.
Extracurricular. Speech didn't work. No, I wasn't in speech class. That sounds like I had an impediment or something.
Oh yeah, not that, like public speaking. That's what you should say.
Yeah. And I wasn't in any plays, any sports, anything. I was in the business technology club. Woo. And that was not even a club. I don't even know. And then I was in the photography club, and I didn't own a camera.
Okay.
I did websites and stuff like that on the side, and I was really business oriented and stuff like that, and doing graphic design. So it was all more so the computer side of things. I want to pose that question to you and then you.
Oh, okay. I didn't do a lot of extracurriculars. I was in band. Our school didn't have as many to choose from, by the way, because we were a smaller school. So there wasn't like, you know, the things you mentioned. Like we didn't even have those choices.
What things did I mention?
The photography and the business.
They had some crazy clubs just to fill out the book, I think, just to make it look like you did more.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you were in band, you said that, right?
Uh-huh.
What did you play?
Clarinet.
Okay, and then you...
Yeah, I was in band from 5th grade through 12th grade and played trumpet the whole time.
Trumpet. You still have the trumpet.
Yes, it's in the closet.
I tried to get you to get rid of it.
One of my kids might want to play trumpet.
Yeah, then they could use it, although it may need some tuning up. Been sitting a while.
You tune a trumpet?
No, it'll need...
How do you do
There may
that?
be some update things
I
it
don't know,
needs.
I'm
We'll
not-
see.
Okay, so do you get a lot of California buyers? She lives in California. This is Diana Lopez. And she rarely gets buyers from there. Okay, well, I can see what you're saying, because here in Illinois, I don't have many Illinois buyers, which is like, okay, I mean, it's the way it is. I have about 5.8% Illinois buyers, and that's a very exact number. But I'm able to look that up with my pirate ship program software. It's all free. But yeah, so 5.8% for the whole year, that's not very much. But it's actually more than a lot of the states. So it was able to be on like the top 6 states that I ship to. California, ironically, 15%. So I do have a lot of shipments that go to California. And because I do bundle price in, that sometimes is an impediment to growth on the price. But I can't complain. It's pretty good. And then it says, and people need to stop picking on Aaron, not liking or being into the reseller business. We are all different and have different likes. So what are your likes besides the reselling, since you don't really?
Well, I have 2 main things as far as things that I collect, and that is clocks and railroad stuff. And I go out and watch live trains and all that kind of stuff quite often. It's called rail fanning. Very fairly common thing, I guess you could say.
There actually is a good sized following of people that go, they record, they set up, and they watch these trains there, and they even post them to YouTube. So if you're...
In fact, yes, YouTube.
He has a YouTube channel.
I do have a YouTube channel with the train videos on it.
Yeah, it's not like any sort of talking or anything. It's just, you're just watching a train. So if you don't like sitting like at a train, you wouldn't like the video.
Sitting at a train.
In a car, I guess I'm trying to say, like, you know, you're trying to get somewhere and the train's just in your way. He likes to watch that.
So you could watch the videos and you're watching a train, but you don't have to be stopped. Like, it wouldn't be in your way. You can watch it whenever you have time.
I think though, for most people, if they don't want to be stopped by one, they're not going to watch one on their spare time. That's my guess. But
yeah, I would agree. So
you're either into it or you're not.
You like the trains, and actually the last few days he's been going through this DVD series of 1990s trains
from my childhood days.
Yeah, which he likes that era of trains.
I see a dog ready to come in.
Yeah, you can let her out. Okay, here's an interesting question. How hard was it to start a YouTube channel, and how long did it take you to reach a good amount of viewers? Well, this has a lot of questions in it from Dawn. How hard was it? It's not hard if you really want to do it and you put the effort to learn the different aspects of it. The hardest thing will be the editing, probably, because it's not like a common thing that we all know already. You can start with your cell phone, which is what I did, and we should all know how to record a video. Even your mom, she's in her 70s, mid-70s, she can record.
I guess she could.
Yeah, but the editing probably, and they even have apps for that. If you wanted to go super low tech, you can do it all on your phone. It really drains your battery. It's really hard on your phone to do it, but you can. What equipment did you start with? I used my phone, and that's it for the most part. I experimented with a few like little lavalier mics to help the audio boost on the phone because they don't have great inherent audio. Though the picture quality is so great these days with those phones. And then I actually still have my first tripod that I used with the phone, and that was like $20. Were you scared / nervous about it? No, not really. And that sounds strange, but there's nothing to be nervous or scared about. And has your and then it said how long did it take you to reach a good amount of viewers? I don't know what good amount means. It's one of these things where you're looking at the growth and you're following just your track. So as you see, you get excited over 10 subscribers, and then you get excited over 50. So every level that you're able to reach, it's a good amount. So what would you compare that to? You could compare yourself to others, which I've tried not to do, but yeah. How long did it take? You're gonna see growth as long as you keep at it, and yeah, that's all I can really say. Has your YouTube channel greatly increased your sales on Etsy? Yes, it has. So it's not only increased the sales, it increased the speed at which things do sell. So even before YouTube, I was able to sell things, not pretend. I had 800 items and I would have maybe 3 sales a day. Now I'm sub 400 items and I'm still having about 3 to 4 sales a day. Oftentimes I would list something and it would set for maybe a month before it sold. Now I list something and it sells the day of or the next day. So that has a lot to do with people that are seeing the things on the screen, and it helps a lot. Are Barb and Aaron twins?
How is that? No.
No.
I was born in January 28, 1987, and she was born, I believe it's July 3rd or 5th or something.
July 5th, 1981, so I'm 5.5 years older than Aaron.
It's a big difference. And then when and how did you all become collectors, thrifters? We touched on this before. Relatively recent. I mean, if you want to think of it that way. I've always been into like the older stuff. I grew up watching I Love Lucy and all these older shows, so that was age, well, whatever age that was, whenever you start comprehending things. And then you touched on that. You didn't, well, you know, you guys didn't have cable or anything, so I feel like you were watching old shows too. But they were like Matlock or something.
I mean, I didn't really watch that, but...
That was not one that I watched. I know Mom and Dad loved it.
And Gunsmoke, right?
I watched shows like on the CW, Dawson's Creek,
that makes sense.
Kind of stuff.
I liked Seventh Heaven. I don't know who liked that one, but that was a good one.
Not many.
I think that was more popular than you think.
I can't complain because I went through a phase of watching Touched by an Angel. So.
Oh my Lord. That I didn't do. I like Walker, Texas Ranger too. That's a good one from the
gosh.
90s.
Okay, so it says, do you guys like living in Illinois? If you could move anywhere, where would you pick? Also, how old is feisty little Stella? Okay, so do you like living in Illinois?
I mean, I haven't ever lived in any other state, so I mean, it's obviously not that horrible, I guess. If I could pick somewhere, that's hard.
Yeah.
If I could really pick anywhere, and it might be a place that doesn't exist, but my biggest wish would be like someplace that the temperature is like always in the 70s basically, but you're in a safe like country and all that. But in the U.S., I don't know. I mean, there's so many places I still want to visit that I don't like. California, I haven't been to. I like Arizona, but I don't know if I would move there or not. I mean, I don't know.
That's true. I thought I had an answer, but then now you just disintegrated it. I like living in Illinois, and I actually prefer this area than as opposed to where I grew up, because over here we have a lot more land and breathing room. Where I grew up, there was a steel mill, so that was having a really bad scent all day, every day. You see like little metal crystals on your car overnight from the sun hitting it. Yeah, and that's in your lungs. So I'm glad to get away from that. And the area wasn't great. It was like on its way to becoming sort of like St. Louis in some ways, you know, crime and all that. So I was happy to get out while I could. So here in more or less the rural area, I like it. But I will say, what I don't like about Illinois is all of the fields and what they do to my sinuses and issues like that. And you know all about that with me. It's just, it's not a good thing. So whenever they're plowing the field or mold and all that. So where would I rather be? I don't know. Maybe Florida. And see, that's the thing. You mentioned it. Like you haven't been very many places, and so neither have I. So I have not really been to many places in the U.S. So it's hard for me to compare where I'd want to live to here. I like the coastal regions, but that's going to be underwater one day, so I worry about that. No, I mean, I don't know. So
there's no perfect place, probably.
No.
I would say too, though, I thought of it when you were answering that the best thing about living here, probably to me, is that it is a pretty safe area, and for the kids, and the kids are going to the school I went to, and it's a good school, so that's a positive.
This specific area,
yeah.
Right?
I mean, I'm born and raised here in this Illinois area, so I like it, but I mean, it would be kind of cool to have two houses, one somewhere in the northern part of the U.S. for the summertime when it's real hot, and then to have one in the winter down maybe Arizona or Florida or something like that. So
I don't know if I agree.
That's just a pipe dream there. But anyways,
I think if you're going to talk like that, I would rather have an RV and then just be able
that's
to
an option,
relocate.
I suppose, someday. But
I like your idea. We could like share a property somewhere else.
But then we have to decide where we want to be, like where the two places are.
Future conversations.
Okay. All right. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was part one of the getting to know us. That's like a song, right?
Getting to know you.
Yeah, getting to know us, 3. So watch out for tomorrow. We've got another part to this video, and thanks for watching. What do I say? Oh, don't forget to comment. Wait.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.